Hello students, this video is going to teach you about solving by evaluating square roots. When we're solving these, we're really looking for the x-intercepts of those quadratics we've been working with. So the x-intercepts are where the quadratic or the graph is going to cross the x-axis. So how you do this is step 1. You're going to get the squared term, the one with the exponent of 2, by itself on one side of the equal sign. Step 2, take the square root of both sides of the equal sign. Step 3, remember you should get a positive and negative answer from a square root. I'll talk about that in a minute. And step 4, split into 2 equations and solve for x. Alright, so the part where I talked about you should get a positive and negative term. Answer. When we are working with the square root of 36, most people will tell me the square root of 36 is 6, because 6 times 6 is 36. However, negative 6 times negative 6 is also 36. So you should get both a positive and a negative answer. And that's the notation we use right there. A plus over a minus to show that we have both a positive and negative. Same thing with the square root of 49. 7 times 7 is 49. Negative 7 times negative 7 is 49. So you should have a positive and negative answer. All right, here's an example of actually solving one of these. So the first step was to get the term with the exponent of 2 by itself. So we want to get x squared here by itself. To do that, we're going to have to get rid of the minus 25. We do that by doing the opposite, so we're going to add 25. X squared equals 25. Now to get rid of this x squared, we're going to have to take the square root of both sides. That will cancel out this exponent of 2. So you're left with just x. So on the left side, and then we have to find the square root of 25. Well, 5 times 5 is 25, but negative 5 times negative 5 is 25. So this is going to be a plus or minus 5. I don't have anything else with x, so I don't have to simplify it further. My answer is x is either negative 5 or positive 5. Example 2 has a few more steps to it. It looks a little bit more complicated. But we're still going to start it off the same way. We want to get whatever has the exponent of 2 by itself. So we want this x minus 3 squared all by itself. So that means we need to get rid of this 2 out front. We're going to do that by dividing by 2. Always do the opposite. And that leaves me with x minus 3 squared equals 72 divided by 2 is 36. Again, anytime I want to get rid of the exponent of 2, I have to take the square root. They are opposites of each other, just like multiplication and divisions are opposites, squares and square roots are opposites. So take the square root of both sides. What you do to one side, you do to the other. That drops down this x minus 3. And earlier we had the square root of 36. We said the square root of 36 is positive and negative 6. So now I have to do some simplifying. I'm going to go ahead and split this into 2 separate equations. X minus 3 equals positive 6 and x minus 3 equals negative 6. And I need to solve for both x's. So I know I need to add 3 to both sides, and that works for both equations. Here I'm going to have, cancels out, x equals 6 plus 3 is 9. And over here, this cancels out, I'm going to have x equals negative 6 plus 3, which is negative 3. So my answers, my x-intercepts for this quadratic would be at negative 3 and 9. One last really important note is our answer will be no solution if there is a negative under the square root. Because that will give me an imaginary number, meaning our quadratic won't cross the x-axis at all. So anytime you get something that has a square root of like negative 100, would give you a no solution. It's an imaginary number. All right, that's all for notes.